Next, we're going to hear from Adrienne Parkmond, who's our Vice President of Operations here at the workplace. I wanted a technical note. We have fixed some of the problems that we were experiencing earlier with the audio, and I apologize for that, but we are working through that kink, and it seems to be working better. So without any further ado, I want to introduce Adrienne, who really is charged with implementing Joe's vision on a number of initiatives. So Adrienne, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. I hope everyone can hear me. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the operational pieces of platform to employment, where the meat kind of hits the vision and it hits the road. So we're going to start with our elements of the program. And the first thing we want to talk about is, when did we start this program? The slide says we commenced in May of 2011, where in actuality the formation of the program began well before that. In May of 2010, we were notified that the first 12,000 people in Connecticut were going to exhaust their unemployment benefits after 99 weeks of unemployment. And that was through a letter from the then acting Commissioner of Labor at the Connecticut Department of Labor. At that time, that's when Joe's vision kind of kicked in, that we had to do something about this. We had to sit down and figure out what we were going to do to help address the issues that these individuals were going through. Although they were no longer connected to the unemployment compensation system, these were individuals that are part of our workforce system, and we could not just let them fall off that ledge. So we decided to figure out a program, and what I'm going to walk you through is what that program looked like. We started with 100 participants. Now, why 100? Well, we looked at this as a demonstration project, and that's why you'll see some of the pieces we have in here, because we wanted to kind of document exactly what these individuals were going through and to kind of evaluate whether, what pieces of the program would work. We had 5 cohorts of approximately 20 individuals that we put through this program. It was a very small group, but again, it gave us the opportunity to demonstrate its effectiveness, which I think we did. We raised about $600,000. Now, that's a large number, but you'd be amazed that once you lay out what your vision is and you talk about the impact of long-term unemployment to a variety of investors, whether it be foundation, corporate, or individuals, you'd be surprised at what return you're going to get on just an ask. And a lot of times we are afraid to just ask the question, but we are not afraid here to ask, so that's what we did. We wanted to make sure, in terms of a program, that we were on the premise that the program had to be different. We're a workforce investment board. We serve a lot of people through our one-stop centers every day, but we wanted to make sure this program was different, and different in the respect that we knew that individuals that were facing 2 years of unemployment had different issues. They had unique issues, and we wanted to make sure the program was recognizing the impact of long-term unemployment. So we wanted to ensure that we were dealing with the emotional issues, the potential mental health issues, and that we are focused on trying to build self-confidence and self-esteem so that these individuals did have the ability to compete. The 5-week training program was not an occupational or vocational skills training program. A lot of these individuals had used our system or other systems to get occupational training, so we were focused on getting them into job readiness, to make sure that they were, again, ready. After 2 years and a lot of rejection, it's difficult for anyone, regardless of your age, your education, or your life experience. It's hard to get back on that bike and start to get out there. So that's what we want the 5-week training program to be about. The work experience piece, I think that, we think about that when we're talking about youth coming out of school, youth that are in school, and we do a little bit of that with adults when we're talking about on-the-job training. We wanted to make this, again, a little bit different in the respect that the work experience is actually an experience of you getting back to what you were doing, or in some cases doing something a little different. But we wanted to make it free of risk for the employer. We know that it's a buyer's market, that there are 4 applications for every job that's out there. So we want to ensure that the employer had some incentive to give our participants that leg up, so to speak. Although through the training and through the work experience, we made sure the participants knew that they still had to compete for the job, that it wasn't just a given. They had to go in and interview and be qualified. So what does the program actually look like? The program design was based on sort of like an IPO. We said it actually made more sense when we're going out trying to raise money to give people a figure. How much is this going to cost you? You can buy 1, you can buy 10, you can buy 100. Well, we didn't have anyone that bought 100, but we had several types of donors that bought different levels of investment. So $6,000 per worker. We had corporate donors, we had foundations, and individual contributors. Again, we went out and we asked and we explained the issue. People understood it because everyone that we spoke to either knew someone, had a family member, or even themselves had experienced long-term unemployment, so they could relate. So they understood and they wanted to be involved. We enrolled workers, we enrolled individuals last summer, 100 of them, and they were selected from a very diverse pool. We went to the Connecticut Department of Labor and asked them if they could send a letter out to individuals that had recently exhausted their unemployment, so we only went back 1 quarter. They sent out 1,400 letters to individuals that exhausted 99 weeks of unemployment, and we asked them to fill out an application online. So they went in, and we received 392 applications quite quickly, probably within the first 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks of having the application live. When we got these applications, we wanted to make sure we had a diverse pool because, again, this is a demonstration project. So we wanted to make sure it was diverse in terms of gender. We wanted to make sure it was men and women. We wanted to make sure they were all age groups, that there were a variety of different races, education levels, and life experience. So we actually interviewed 164 individuals and selected 100 for the actual program. So how do we kind of define success in this pilot program? We didn't really want to put numbers to it because this was considered for us a movement. We wanted to make sure that there was that people began to acknowledge this group of 99ers, and we wanted to be able to develop that force that would bring the community together, and that's why we reached out to a variety of community partners to make sure that they were involved in the program. We wanted to be a part of any action that would help to prohibit discrimination based on one's length of unemployment. And currently there are 2 bills, one that was sponsored by our Connecticut Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, and another one in the Senate by our Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, who both heard about this issue of 99ers right here at the workplace. And again, as Joe mentioned, we want to provide hope because hope is quintessential to an individual moving forward and believing that there is a possibility for them after 2 years of despair. Who are our participants and the goals? The goals were, we brought the participants in, and what we do is an orientation for the cohort. And we set it out, well, the way we set up the orientation is we want to tell them what we expect from them. I think one thing that Joe said to them when we first started the cohorts were that they were going to be the ambassadors. They were going to show that, to give people a chance that they would be able to get back to work and be able to take care of their families. And what we needed from them was to give 100% to the program, to be open to developing new networking opportunities and learning new skills, and to really engage in that 8-week assignment, which is the work experience piece, which we kind of call it an 8-week job interview, where the person is there at the employer and actually showing the skills that they have. And then after that 8-week assignment, either continue there in an unsubsidized employment opportunity, or if there's another opportunity that comes up that's a better suit to do that, but to be committed to getting back into the workforce without a subsidy after the 8-week period. Our participants, again, we were looking for diversity. Nearly half of them had a college degree or more. Half of them were over the age of 50. Largely female represented. We live in an area of Connecticut where we have a number of suburban towns, and we have 4 urban centers. We have 67% that were from our suburban towns, and these aren't individuals that were familiar with using our system. And by that I mean our workforce development system, or our one-stop. You'd be amazed at the number of individuals that came in that had not thought about using our system or didn't think that our system was designed to meet their needs. And I think we turned them around. They understood that, you know, they needed our help in getting back to where they could provide for their families. So it was a very diverse group, and I think what it did was it opened up our one-stops to a new constituent. And they, again, are going to be the ambassadors for showing that if our system adjusts and adapts, and we put the services in place, that people can get a huge benefit out of it.